Welcome to the DGTL Growth Podcast, where marketing leaders turn playbooks into pipeline. I'm Suse Barnes. Today, we're diving into Lifecycle marketing with Gabriel Wolff, managing partner at Everything Bagel. Gabriel, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a bit about Everything Bagel.
Yeah, so Everything Bagel started out of my own dissatisfaction when I was brand side. I was brand side for about 15 years. Had hired a bunch of different agencies to do a bunch of different things, and then had to hire a bunch of people to manage those different agencies to try and make them all do the thing that we needed them to do, which is grow sales and make profit. So built an internal team at my last position as a CRO, and then plucked them out and started a firm. And now we do it as more of like a marketing department for hire than necessarily like an agency.
Great. How many people are on your team?
We're about 34 people. Just hired somebody who starts tomorrow. So
Super.
yeah, it's exciting.
And what innovations are you looking forward to in terms of lifecycle marketing?
I don't know if it's innovations as much as it is just a tightening of the entire LLM ecosystem and the ability for Gen AI to actually work. I think it's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. And particularly when it comes to things like video, it's too difficult to wrestle and edit post feedback from a client to really be usable.
Okay, so you're thinking more on the content side then.
Yeah, I think like on the strategy side and the briefing side, it's pretty damn close. We use it quite extensively. It's just a matter of whether like the team wants to use Claude or GPT for certain actions. But in terms of Gen AI, like that's really when we'll have a huge breakthrough as an industry.
What shifts are you seeing in the industry today that are helping or useful for your business?
A lot of different ways to go with that answer. The shifts that are happening with platforms such as Meta and Google and TikTok is kind of the simplification of campaign structure and setup across every industry that we operate in. Simple account structures perform better than more complex ones, simply because machine learning combined with AI is fantastic. What makes our job easier as well is that a lot of different like ad shops want to put out a ton of terrible content on behalf of their clients. And so in a world where algorithms thrive off of simplicity, giving good creative to those algorithms makes your campaign way more effective. So I would say like, honestly, most of our time as a firm is spent on creative angles, creative messaging, format, content relatability. Like, yes, is the angle right, but is it relatable to the audience? Like that's where we're burning the most calories.
What are your clients most interested in about your offering?
How there's so much horsepower moving in one direction. Typically, and this is from my seat as well, anecdotally, when you have to communicate to a separate email firm, to an influencer firm, to a Shopify dev firm, to an ad shop, to a media buyer, and then back to finance to make sure it's within budget, it's just, you get stretched so thin and all you're doing is playing telephone between different agencies. And then like typically you're then reporting to a CEO who has a different agenda, and it just gets, you're just put in this like no-win situation, and neither are any of your vendors. So when we onboard a new client and there's one team and there's one meeting that they have to just come with a direction for, and then we relay back, okay, here's the plan for paid social and organic social and how we'll direct people to the website. What page of the website? Are we making a landing page? What the lead capture is, what the welcome series is pertaining to the hero offer. Like those things just interlock. It makes their life so much simpler. They're just like, oh, right. Like this fits into this plan and this kind of mousetrap I'm building for new customers. So
one call instead of 6 or 7.
and they're like, oh, I have all this time in my hands. And we're like, yes, please don't go out of stock.
exactly. What's working well for you right now and what maybe is frustrating
Just broadly,
in your business?
people and communication. I think like we're a fully remote team, and I think we really do a good job of making sure we're hyper collaborative internally, making sure that different teams are able to voice what they're seeing creatively or on the data side with media buying. That said, communication is so much more intentional in a remote environment, but it affords us crazy differentiated perspectives and also really high quality work. I think independent contributors thrive in a remote environment. Man thrives in an in-office environment. And we're, in case you haven't picked up on it, we're kind of like an anti-management agency. So we don't like management tax. We just want to do good work and make sure it's in the right direction for clients. So figuring out the right balance between that, balancing meeting hours internally versus just really being structured around PM. We don't have room to improve on the PM side, but the communication side is always going to be uh, the most thorny as a remote firm in a service-based business.
Hmm. Are you putting any systems in place to solve for that? Like any newer?
Every week, yeah. Yeah, we do rely on AI to help communicate messaging, to take those notes that are automatically captured in any Zoom
Mhm.
call. We have been trying to build like agents for each client, so there's like a shared repository, a shared intelligence that any team member can just kind of communicate with and understand like what was the client sentiment last week, what are they looking to improve, what are they rolling out next month, things like that. I don't think it'll ever stop. I think it's the most important thing though, of course, because if team members start spinning out of orbit, then you burn resource and time and money and everything just kind of falls apart.
Interesting. I'm just curious. Is it one of your team members able to ask the agent the knowledge that the client would have so they can kind of see how the client might answer a question? Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's not prompted to be the voice or
Hmm.
yeah, the voice of the client. It's way more informational because
Hmm.
we want it. How do I put it? We want our agents to be just more of a resource than necessarily playing. Let me put it this way: I don't want graphic designers to be designing for a client as much as I want them to design for results.
Hmm.
Strategists, the VPs on our team, they're able to kind of feel that buffer between the client's subjectivity or preference versus what we also see across the board as producing results for other clients. Because that's really why you hire an outside party is they just get more at bats, more pitches than an internal team. They see a lot more. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I see that there could be a pitfall in having the agent be the client, act as the client, because sometimes the client doesn't always have the best
well,
solution, right?
or
And that,
they
yeah,
haven't seen some of the things that you may have seen as
yeah.
a third party working on different industries and different brands.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Which metrics are you most focused on improving?
Every client is different.
Hmm.
Typically, our clients come to us with some sort of MER or blended ROAS or return on ad spend target, basically just dollars in versus dollars out. We then translate that to an acquisition cost and a lifetime value per customer
Hmm.
that we need to hit. So it's kind of like this whole, it's why we're called Everything Bagel, because you may say, I want to make $1 million and spend 250K. And we'll say, okay, here's how that happens. So we now need to go acquire, I don't know, 3,000 customers at X dollars per customer. And every one of those customers needs to then spend $200 with you over the course of 6 months. They need to recoup 150 of that within the first 3 months. And that means that the retention rate needs to be X. And then so like kind of reverse engineering that. And then we apply an email plan and an organic plan for the retention and lifetime value, as well as creative angle testing, a media plan for the acquisition front, as well as like hero offer and landing pages, things of that nature. So it's how we work with a client who maybe doesn't have all those different secondary and tertiary KPIs kind of set in stone. We've also had clients who say, hey, here's our acquisition target, cost per new customer. As long as you hit that, you can scale to the moon. And we now have been through this several times where we know that when we do that, we start scaling to the moon, the CFO says, why are you're spending all our money? And it's like, yes, but you're going to make so much in like a month. Like, I need to slow down. It's like, got it. So what's your MER target? Because you do need to balance cash flow.
Do you get clients that are like, we're scaling, can we give you 100x?
Yeah.
And will we scale 100x in the same amount of time?
Yeah. We have a client, and they're probably one of our most successful, who just has a very high target and wants to scale 20% month over month till infinity. They've been a client for 3 years and they have scaled 20% month over month. Clients can be very aggressive with their targets. It's on us to give them the reality as we see it on the field. But oftentimes they're not wrong, and their stretch targets are within reach. It's just a matter of what things we have to tweak for users to get there.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, why we call it Everything Bagel, because you're covering all of the different pieces that are needed to reach the final product that is.
Because no one's ever had just like a magic bullet to make their business work. Even the businesses that thrived off of Facebook ads in the 2015, 2017, 2018 world, without that, they fall apart. So it's clear that you need a blend of marketing mix of creative angles, creative messages to different cohorts of new customers that come in through different doors into your business.
If you're onboarding a new client, do you have to switch them to different services that you use or vendors that you use, or would you just stay with what they have?
They typically are advertising on Facebook and Google and maybe TikTok. Sometimes they're new to TikTok shop, so we'll onboard them as a TikTok shop partner. Maybe they didn't set up their Klaviyo or their email correctly, so we'll go ahead and renovate that out of the gate. So it's more of like cleaning up their existing use of vendors and tools than implementing net new. Let's do a new business, in which case, obviously, it's a blank slate.
Where does your company want to be in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think our company is going to continue to evolve deeper with our existing clients, as well as take on newer clients that are scaling as well and have, but this way, most of our clients have come through client referral. It's getting results with us and then referring us to other prospective clients. I see that continuing. I see us building more on our organic social team that has grown quite a lot. That team has gotten really sharp in the past like 6 months. They've had multiple assets go viral on Instagram and TikTok. The community management side of the business of having comments go viral, where you get like 400,000 likes on a comment, and you're the first comment as a brand, and all of a sudden you've kind of like Twitterized the comment section of a TikTok asset. I think is going to continue to grow as well.
And what's the ROI on that? Right.
Hard to prove, but we do see growth in engagement and then follower count for those brands.
Yeah.
So
imagine. Awesome. If you could solve one major challenge today in your business, what would it be?
I think it's more a challenge for me than it is our business. I think it's my ability to communicate in a way that different parties can fully grasp. The beauty of our company is that we have everybody from like creatives to developers and media jockeys. It's hard to communicate a message and package it a certain way where all those different brain types can receive it and run with it. So I think like that's more for like my evolution as a manager and as a business owner, as well as for our leadership team to be able to say, hey, the money is flowing this way. This is why we need to design in this way and strategize for next month in a certain configuration. And that is also though our superpower, because that's how marketing teams match sales needs.
Mm-hmm.
You speak to companies or CMOs, marketing is always at odds with finance because finance wants to cut marketing the second times get hard. And it's probably the last thing they should, because that's what keeps businesses going and growing. So I think the more sophisticated all marketers can get about how what they do or need to do on a creative front or on a media front impacts the other side, the art or the science of it, the more effective they'll all be.
I imagine like certain like media may not necessarily understand why creative is doing something in a certain way, and you need to sort of someone that understands all of the different ways each team thinks about it. Is that correct?
Exactly. And
Yeah.
a hook rate or a thumb stop ratio for creative could be interpreted 1,000 different ways. Was it the verbal hook? Was it the visual hook? Is it because we used a bright yellow as the background? Like what? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bit of like fill in the gap that needs to be done.
Interesting. Do you have any predictions for next year, for 2026? What will that look like for brands and ad agencies?
I think the use of AI is going to be the biggest trend. They said that for this year. It hasn't like really taken shape. I think the use of AI is going to create such desensitization towards assets on Instagram and social in general, where users are going to get kind of a vanilla vibe on anything that is AI, just because everything's going to feel like it's AI, that they're going to be craving something real. I think we'll have a return to authenticity. I think that's what we saw with TikTok, was that it felt authentic. It was kind of the death of like this whole aspirational or bust trend that we saw in marketing on Instagram. Same will happen as more brands just spit out a high volume of content using AI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. Do you have any favorite podcasts? Do you listen to podcasts?
Not as much recently. I've been on more of like a music kick this past season, but previously I did listen to quite a few podcasts, a lot of Huberman, a lot of All In Pod. So your typical like finance and neuroscience stuff.
Cool. And what kind of music?
I've recently been way more into like house music as part of a way to like get excited to work out, because I need all the motivation I can get.
Yeah, for sure. Super. How can people find you?
Yep. I'm Gabriel Wolff with 2 Fs on Instagram, on TikTok, on LinkedIn, on YouTube as well. You can find me pretty much anywhere.
And everythingbagel.com.
And Everything Bagel partners. Yep.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Gabe. It's been super fun chatting with you and learning more about Everything Bagel.
Thanks for having me today.